our contributions to human existence are not just footnotes, they're headlines. We're not just participants in histories, we are architects. I also want to point out that Brown v. Board of Education was more than just a court case. The the court case is detailed in Margaret Atwood's book We Face the Dawn. It's a great, great book. Initially, the our community's primary goal wasn't to desegregate schools, but to secure equitable resources from the tax system. It's just that simple. Initially, that was the ask. Everyone, anytime you go to a court or any court, because even in criminal court, the prosecution is they have an ask also. But in civil courts, family courts, anything like that, there is an ask. You basically is asking the courts to do something, to give us to decide on the appropriate remedy for this injustice. And in most civil cases that I know specifically, that I've read on and researched and learned about, they they include the remedy. You know, the what they believe should be a remedy for their misjustice, or the misjustice that was done to them. And so in those cases, um, those black attorneys, they they didn't just leave it blank. You know, they didn't just say, we grant the court to just make a decision based on whatever the court believes. No, they actually put in there, no, this is what we believe is owed to our communities that, pay into this tax system. And um in researching this, I learned that there were some cold hearted factual numbers in there. It wasn't just, hey, um, this school has a better, um, it wasn't just this school has a pool and we want a pool. This school has a better basketball court and we want a better basketball court. No, 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 no. This was detailed. This was detailed down to the penny. And in so many words, I'm not quoting, and I don't have the book in front of me, of course. But it made stark contrasts. It said the state of whatever, whatever, because it didn't say state. I want to say it said the federal government. The federal government spends um, $2 for every black child in public schools, based on the funding that was received for whatever years over the period. And then it went and said, and the same federal government spends $40 on each white child. So they were very clear on what they wanted, and it was in numbers. It was just black and white, cut and dry. It was no, well, y'all got 5 schools. We want 5 schools. No, 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 no. It was cut and dry down to the pupils. And we know that, or we should know now, that's essentially how funding is decided in public schools. It's based on the number of kids within the district. It's based on the number of kids enrolled in a specific school. That's how the funding is break down by the school. It goes from the district, and then the district money, they break that down based on the school levels and based on each child. Based on each child, each school gets this so much amount of money. Now that money is only based, it's promised based on the attendance, the amount of time the child attends school. And so, and then they have what we call a capture date. And this is the number that is captured by the district, which is then sent over to the state government, then sent over to the federal government, that tells how many kids were in school on this day at in this month. And all those numbers, they use that as the sort of the capture average number. And then funding either goes up or down based on how many kids regularly attend school after that date. So we see that in many cases, you can almost say that Brown v. Board sort of helped with the drill down of those numbers, because before, now I could be wrong, but from the cases that I looked up, I didn't see any information that was drilled down to the dollar per kid. Now, I did see numbers based on the population of an area, the population of the districts that it serves in the area, but I didn't see anything that drilled down. And I'm saying not see anything, and I'm talking about from that time period back in the 1940s and 50s. And so we can say that the Brown v. Board of Education case actually helped in drilling down those numbers. So who else would have, brought numbers all the way down to the penny unless it was someone who was getting shortchanged? That's how I see it. And so it is my belief that that case is really how we can get down to the actual number in dollars in what we spend to service our kids in public schools. Now, I've read some before about Anna Julia Cooper and her case, and there was some board meetings that I read about that, but I did not see the detailed numbers in dollars per pupil. I didn't see that, and that could be an oversight on my part, but if I don't see it now, I promise you I will read it eventually. But this case was the first that I've seen that they detailed so much in the education system, and it was cut and dry in the disparities. I mean, it was no way. It's just no way that they could have done it any better. And people asked that, or people say that, oh, we were better off when we were segregated. Well, in a sense, we kind of wasn't. Because if we think about people like Anna Julia Cooper, okay, in segregated schools, she still had to fight a white board. Now, at a period in our education system, now remember, these are our schools. We're segregated. These are all black kids being serviced, right? But guess what? The local governments, federal governments agreed that these all black schools and these all black school districts needed to be overseen by white people. So you had all black schools, you had black principals in many cases. Anna Julia Cooper was one of them, and this was over high school. All black principals high school. You had, maybe one or two superintendents that were black. But guess what? The government, mm, y'all just, you just have to, you have to hear it because I really, really hate when people say stuff like, we were better off during segregation. First of all, shut up. You wasn't born, okay? You don't know what the hell was going on during segregation. How the hell you know we was better off? You wasn't nothing. Your ass wasn't here. First of all, won't you go and talk to somebody who's actually here, who's here right now, and ask them if they were better off at a different period, a more hostile period at that. So I'm gonna need you to shut up, and I think I need a lot of people who wasn't born then, who had no idea about the time frame or about the system, the times, what was going on. If you was black, because if you was white, I think you should. I don't think unless you've studied, you can't understand. And I think even if you studied, you can't understand. You can say you saw it, but it's not the same. So you need to sit down and learn something. These black people, you thinking that they were more better off, as if they were more quote unquote free than you are now. Well, guess what? Not only did they, block black leaders from running our schools, black superintendents, black principals, black board members, education board members. Guess what they did? They said, well, I don't want to be, they looking at us with their nose up like, no, I don't want to be, I don't want to be no superintendent of no black school, or I don't want to be the principal of no black school. I don't want to sit at the board of a black school. This was all looked upon like it was something wrong with us, right? But then what they said, well, you know what? Y'all black people can't do stuff by y'allself. So this what we gonna do. We gonna create a black side and a white side. So we gonna have a black superintendent and a white superintendent. We're gonna have a black board of education and a white board of education. We're gonna have, they segregated the jobs that oversaw us just so that they could have a job that they were getting paid from. Just think about that. They have no interest at all whatsoever in the education of black kids. Yet they felt it was necessary to create an all-white board of education that sought over black schools. They also created a white superintendent's position that was in, I wouldn't even say, from what I read, I wouldn't even call it a co-position, okay? Because at the end, you saw that the white person, whatever the white superintendent said, those changes was what was being implemented. All the ideas and the suggestions from the black superintendents or the black leaders in that area, in that field, they were ignored. They were completely ignored. They just thought like, oh, they don't know what they talking about. Yet these are the people who are here. They're here with our kids. They know what the kids like. They know what the kids want. They know what the kids asking for. They know what the kids need. Not only that, we were also building something because we had to integrate into a society that segregated us